Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. So, woke up, it is Friday morning, Friday the 10th, and it is now 6:05. And I woke up, got up at like 5:15, and had my supplements, hydrated, had my first coffee, and I thought, you know what, I might as well get full day of eating on the YouTube. And just to give you guys a bit of an insight as well, if I have a look, because I don't actually know what calories I am actually on. So currently I'm eating 3,700 on a training day and 3,300 on a non-training day. Now, when it comes to fat loss, you probably think that is a lot of food to be dieting on. And yeah, it can be. You know, I've also done preps where food's finished at 1,400 calories. I remember the first photo shoot prep that I ever done. I remember my diet, and it was a handful of oats in the morning. So it's protein oats with a little bit of peanut butter. And then my next four meals were chicken and broccoli, cod and broccoli, and chicken and broccoli. And it was like that for, I would say, about 5 weeks. And that was absolutely horrible. I felt terrible on a daily basis. Whereas last shoot prep, I think, once again, because I just follow a meal plan, I don't get too caught up in the calories that I'm having. I think maybe like 2,400 food finished on, but it's all relative, you know, like 2,400 calories last prep. Once again, to some people that may seem like a lot of food. To me, that is very low, and I was starving. Starving. I was very, very hungry on that amount of food, and even on the food that I'm on now, hunger's still there, you know, hunger's still there. Bear in mind, I finished my off season on like 4,500 calories. So it's like 800 calories less per day than what I was on about 4 weeks ago. So it's all relative, you know. So I'll take you through the full day of eating. It is pretty boring, don't get me wrong, you know, like my meals, you can wait and you can wait to see the meals, but it is the same thing day in, day out. Non-training day is slightly different, calories are slightly lower, protein stays the same, carbs slightly less on a non-training day, and then higher dietary fats. So yeah, I'll walk you through full day of eating. We've got pull today as well at Oxygen. I've actually got my membership in Oxygen now. I was going to go back to the dungeon, but I thought, you know what, like, I am really enjoying Oxygen. I'm liking utilizing the sauna afterwards. And I go back in like a month anyway. So I might just get another month done in Oxygen before we go back to the UK. And that's what I'm going to do basically. So I'm going to do a little bit of work now, and then I got my first meal in about 45 minutes, which is my favorite meal of the day. It is my favorite meal, and I make it the night before. That's how nice this meal is. I make it the night before to look forward to in the following day, which is overnight oats basically. I'll crack into some work now, and then I'll show you guys my first meal and my favorite meal. What's the matter? What's the matter? Are you hungry? The thing is with my cat as well, she literally just eats chicken breast, which is crazy. She has chicken breast in the morning, midday, and evening. So, and she has a good amount, to be fair. She has a good handful. So if you're struggling to hit your protein, my cat probably has about 100 grams of protein a day. So if my cat, who's probably about 2 kilo, can eat 100 grams of protein per day, you can as well. So first meal of the day, we have 100 grams of chicken, contains 20 grams of protein. No, this is literally what she eats on a daily basis. Like I said, she has it a good 3 times per day. Right, she'll see it in a sec now, but I've never met someone who just loves chicken. Well, I have actually, me. I love my chicken, but I think she loves chicken even more. So meal one is about to go down, and if I let you know the calories, what I'll do is I'll put the calories and macros on the screen as well. But this is my overnight oats, which I look forward to every morning. Here we go. So this is the goat of all protein oats. And in this meal, it is 100 grams of oats, 150 grams of frozen berries. I just use blueberries I much prefer it I used to use blueberries and raspberries, but I much prefer blueberries. 30 grams of whey, 30 grams of almond butter, and then 10 grams of honey. And what I do is I make this the night before. So I make the protein oats. I put 2 grams of pink salt in this meal as well. If you're not salting your oats, you're missing out massively. And then put it in the fridge overnight, so this is nice and cold. I used to have this exact meal when I was in my off season, but it was 125 grams of oats, and I would just make it in the morning and I'd have it hot, and I'd try and just eat it, not as quick as I can, but I'd just try and eat it without really enjoying it so much, because food was so high, I wasn't really that bothered about it. But with this now, because like I said, food has come down and I'm feeling hungrier, I want to enjoy my meals more. I want them to make I want them to last a little bit longer. So having it cold allows me to make the meal last that little bit longer. So I'll have this now. What I usually do is stick a podcast on in the background. The podcast that I'm loving at the minute is the Mike Thurston podcast. I think it's called First Things Thirst. But yeah, some of the guests that he has on is sick, to be fair. So stick that on, have this meal, crack on with some work, and then go to the gym. Big pull day going down. So meal 2 about to go down, and this is going to be my pre-workout meal. So what I have here is 2 bagels, and the size of these bagels is crazy. They're not like the New York bagels from back home. These are like bagels that are on steroids. Like, look at the size of that. It's almost the size of my head. So what I'll do is with these meals is I will screenshot the macros and actually put them to the left of me here, because it will just be easier than inputting it myself. I'll screenshot it from the app, I'll put it on. So it's 2 bagels with 30 grams of jam. Like I said, a sprinkle of salt as well. So what I tend to have prior to training is my overnight oats and these 2 bagels. And what I also try and do is have at least 2 to 3 liters of water, just to make sure that I'm hydrated, because when it comes to training, you want to have very good hydration. So you want to have water, but you also want to have salt as well. So it's currently at the minute 8:30. So it's 8:30 and I'm already going to be 2 to 3 liters of water deep. Whilst I'll train and do cardio, there'll be another 2 liters there. So by, I would say, 11 o'clock, I'll be 5 liters of fluid in, which is very important for hydration. So many people are not drinking enough water, and water, it'll help with hydration, number 1, but when it comes to performance in the gym, blood flow, pumps, you want to make sure that you're on top of your hydration as much as you can. So I'll have this, I'll have my second coffee, and then we'll head to the gym, we'll train, we'll come back, and then we got the post-workout meal, and then my 3 cooked meals to have then, before we see the day out. But I need to get on top of my steps. I went for a morning walk, but steps are still very low, so we'll get the steps done, and yeah, we'll just nail today. It's Friday, so on Friday I tend to have no check-ins, which is nice because I can focus on other areas of the business. For example, just catching up with the lads, number 1, but also as well planning content, planning, scheduling posts, all of that stuff, which can be the boring part, the content, but as an online coach, you have to make sure, in my opinion, that you're on top of content as much as possible. So I'm going to tuck into these, coffee, and then gym time. And we are off. Time to demolish my back. And I changed from the coffee for the caffeine source for pre-workout for the smallest can of Monster that there is. I seen that in the fridge. I forgot I bought it yesterday, to be fair. So can of Monster on the drive up to the gym for a pull day. You cannot complain with that. And I just thought I'd give you guys an update as I'm driving to the gym. Now, my body weight, I hit an all-time low, 91.8 yesterday. Came back up this morning up to 92.4. And all week, Monday to Friday, I've just been hovering around the low 92s. Now, nothing's been missed. Training, cardio, steps and food. But what I want to touch on is not getting in your head about scale weight. My body weight hasn't moved, but do I feel like I'm looking better? Yeah. Do I feel like I'm looking leaner? Yeah. Am I doing everything that I can to get leaner? 100%. I haven't gone off plan, you know. So it's one of those where I know a lot of people can get in their head when body weight doesn't move, or they're looking for the drop every day, and sometimes it just doesn't happen, you know. Sometimes it doesn't happen. It is a process, you know. I've got another 15 weeks of the total prep. I think the first one, I think, is in like 11 weeks, but in terms of like the full duration of the fat loss, it will roll into July, maybe August. But it's like, as long as you're doing everything that you can, for example, getting your meals in, getting your training in, getting your steps and your cardio nailed, like, that is the win, you know. Like, don't focus on a number, you know. And I've seen it before, people getting so pissed off and just feeling like they're not moving forward if body weight doesn't come down. And it's the worst sort of headspace to be in, you know. Like, I would say it's more of like a generational thing as well. Like, for example, people who are in like their 40s, 50s, 60s can really affect them, I think, especially from most so women, because of the whole Weight Watchers thing, you know. But not to go off topic there, because the majority of you are going to be men that are watching me anyway. But yeah, my main take home from this is, don't get in your head about scale weight. Whatever phase that you're in, whether you're in a dieting phase and you want body weight to come down, or whether you're in a push-up phase and you want body weight to go up. Like, when I was in my off-season, I was eating 4,500 calories a day. Body weight would not move sometimes, you know. I'd go out for an off-plan meal, my body weight would come down the next day, but I didn't care, you know. My focus was training, you know. Was I progressing my lifts? Yes. Okay, fantastic. You know, I would rather my lifts go up and my body weight stay pretty stagnant than my body weight go up and my lifts stay stagnant, because what will happen then is you're just going to add unnecessary body fat. So focus on the things that are the most important, which is how you feel, how you look, how you perform, your training, your visual appearance when you look yourself in the mirror. Like, some people with me have stayed the same body weight for 2 weeks but visually just look far better, you know. So does that mean they haven't progressed because of the number? God, no. They've progressed because they're looking better. And majority of the time, when I would say 99% of the time when people jump on a call with me when they want to start working towards their physique goals, they don't say anything about body weight. It's like, I want to look a certain way, I want to feel a certain way, I want to perform a certain way. Nothing about, oh, I want to drop X amount of body weight, you know. So why are we focusing on that? You know, yes, over time, don't get me wrong, the body weight would come down, you know, but just because it may stay a little bit stagnant 1 week, don't get in your own head. Focus on the things that matter the most. So little bit of a ramble, but yeah, focus on the things that matter, not something on a scale at the end of the day. Right, so we've touched down in Oxygen, which is, in my opinion, the best gym in Dubai. Like, the size of it, but also the facilities are crazy. Like, in this section alone, you've got like all the back pieces. Like, this is just all for back by here. Then you've got the shoulders just down there. Then further down, you've got chest. All the cardio stuff in that corner. Over there, you've got arms, and then like behind that wall, then you've got legs. So it's a gym where you've just got a wide range of kit, and it's always pretty quiet, to be fair. So there's probably, what, 20 people in here, 20, 30 people, and the gym's like 10,000 square foot. So you can't complain. So, and a hammer my back. So that's cardio and training wrapped up for the day. One more training session left, which is legs tomorrow, and then we have rest day on Sunday. So one training session, one cardio session. I'll train tomorrow, no cardio after legs, and then do the cardio then on Sunday. So absolute nightmare in the gym as well. I jumped on the Stairmaster. As soon as I jumped on the Stairmaster, I went to put my AirPod in, missed my ear. It hit the Stairmaster and like went inside the machine. So it wasn't even on the floor, which is a nightmare. So I've only got one AirPod, but I spoke to the staff and they said that the guy who comes in to like take the machines apart is coming in at like 2 o'clock. So he's going to take the Stairmaster apart and find my AirPod, which would be class if he does, because I don't fancy spending another 250 quid on AirPods, which would just be unnecessary. So anyway, time to go home and tuck in to the post-workout meal. So we're back in the apartment for our post-workout meal, and this has to be my second favorite meal of the day. This is 100 grams of Frosties, 45 grams of whey, and 10 grams of honey, with a sprinkle of cinnamon on top. If you have cereal in your post-workout meal, or if you have cereal for your post-workout meal, definitely use cinnamon on top. And then what I use as well then is a smaller spoon, just as a little bit of a diet hack to make the meal last that little bit longer. So I'm going to tuck into this now. I still actually need to prep my final 3 meals. I got a new setup to do, who is joining the team, Driven Lad, who wants to drop body fat, get into elite shape for summer. So excited to welcome him to the team, set him up, and then catch up with the lads. And I think we actually have to go to the mall later on this evening then. There's a few bits that we need to grab, so I can get my steps done whilst I'm in the mall, because that mall is like a maze. So I'm going to tuck into this and then set up the new lad. So next meal of the day coming up, and this meal we have beef mince, rice and mixed veg. Now I've had this meal every day for the past, I would go to say, like over 2 years now, to be fair. And the thing is, when it comes to my food and the food that you'll see today, the food that I have has been the exact same over the past 2 years, because it gives me consistency and I just know what I need to get, you know. And then when things are getting adjusted, depending on what phase I'm in, whether I'm in a surplus, food will go up. If I'm in a deficit, which I'm in now, food will come down over time, you know. And the veg that I use is the frozen mixed veg. I find it gives a lot of variety. And the sauce that I use as well is also sriracha sauce. When I'm in a gaining phase, I do tend to utilize barbecue sauce, because there's some more calories in it, not because of that is why I use it. I use it because you can be a little bit more flexible. I can now, don't get me wrong, but when I'm dieting, I just want to limit unnecessary calories as much as I can. So that is why I changed to sriracha sauce, because sriracha sauce, in my opinion, is the best sauce to use when you're dieting down, because it contains the least amount of calories per 10 gram, and also you don't need to use much of it because it's hot. So if you're dieting down and you're looking for a good sauce to use, sriracha sauce will be the best one. So I'm going to tuck into this. I'm going to watch the latest press conference with Tyson Fury, and I think he's some Russian guy that he's fighting. I think this month, or maybe, I actually don't know, this month, next month maybe. So I'll watch that, go for a quick walk to help digest his food, and then I've got my final 2 meals to have later on today. So currently out on the afternoon walk, and I've welcomed 2 new lads to the team over the past 2 days, and I just wanted to touch on what both of them did say, and they both mentioned that they know what to do, in the sense of they want to drop the body fat. They know how to drop the body fat, but it's doing it that is the struggle, because they don't have the accountability, they don't have the plan to follow, and that is what they need as such. And that's the thing, like with all the information out there on social media, on the internet, like you can go on ChatGPT and get a diet plan created, get a training plan created, but it doesn't mean it's going to get you the result. Because yes, a diet plan is great, a training plan is great as a foundation, But what you've got to have is the structure, is the accountability, you know, and the check-ins, the touch points. If you have any questions, you can talk to your coach, all of these things. And people don't realize that, you know, like, I don't know whether it's like an ego thing, like people are like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, you know, I don't need help. And if they're getting the results and they don't need the help, then fair enough, you know. But I'll be the first one to say that, like, I've got a coach. I've had a coach for the past 6 years, and I probably always will have a coach, because for me it is the accountability element. You know, if I'm not checking in with someone, if I don't have someone on my case, you know, will I hold myself to the standard that I need to? Maybe, maybe not. So what I'm trying to get at here is, yes, you may know how to do something, but are you actually doing it? You know, are you putting it into place? Because what I also say as well is like, right, okay, if you know what you're doing, fair enough. How long do you think it could take you to get the result? They could say 6 to 8 months, you know, but it's like, right, you come with me, you know, we work hard, we don't miss a beat, we keep communication nice and high, we follow the plan, we'll get that result in 3. So it's like, what do you value more, time or money? Which is the other question. You know, it's like, if you invest in yourself, yes, it comes at an investment, don't get me wrong, but it gets you a result at a far quicker rate than if you were to try and do it yourself. So just food for thought. So moral of the story, like, yes, you may know what to do, but if you're not actually doing it, the best thing for you may be reaching out, getting a coach, having the accountability and having the structure there that is needed. So let's go box off some steps. So we've just popped into probably my favourite cafe in Creek Harbour, which is called Mondu, which is it's French, isn't it? Yeah. So it's like a French cafe, and they do like banging chocolate here, which is so good. But the missus was hungry, so we've popped in. And what have you gone for?
The beef toast.
Beef toast. So you got your carbs, got your protein. Excited? So yeah, and the thing is, I've got nothing, but I got my sparkling water. And the thing is, it's like, you don't have to be a robot as such when you're in a prep setting. Like my first photo shoot prep that I ever done, you know, like I wouldn't even walk in here. You know, if the missus wanted to eat something, you know, I'd be like, no, like we're just going back home, you know. But like, I can sit here, I don't have to eat something. She has a nice meal, we're still social, we still have a chat, I have a nice water, and then when we go back, I'll have my next meal, and we still stay on track. Well, I stay on track. so yeah, I still stay on track with my goals, but you can still do things. You know, like last year when I was in my photo shoot prep, we went to one of our mates' birthdays, and it was a yacht party. There was about 10 to 15 of us, and I was the only person that wasn't drinking, didn't eat any food, but I didn't really feel out of place because I wasn't bothered. You know, it's like I went down there, drank water, like, yeah, probably seemed like a bit boring, don't get me wrong, but there's a time and a place. Like 2 months ago, would I have had something from this place? Yeah, probably. But it's 16 weeks now of me being in this fat loss phase where it's just like, right, I need to diet hard, I need to lock in, and then after that, when I come back to Dubai, after the prep and everything's all over, we'll come here and I'll stuff my face with chocolate because I'd have earned it. So moral of the story, don't completely avoid social events just because you are in a fat loss phase or a prep setting. Just stay disciplined, stay controlled, and have a sparkling water. So into the next meal, which is your classic chicken, rice and veg. I'll put the macros on the screen as well. So my final 2 meals are the exact same. So chicken, rice and veg, chicken, rice and veg. For me, it is just very easy to meal prep, you know, and as you can see from my meals, they're just easy meals. They give me all the macronutrients that I need, the micronutrients from the veg, you know, and it doesn't take me hours to meal prep. And that's what I don't want. Like, I'm super busy, you know, with client work, with just work in general, that I don't want to be spending hours meal prepping. So for me, the quicker it is, the more convenient it is, the easier my life is going to be. And also another tip as well, diet drinks. So I love Coke Zero. In an off season, in a dieting phase, I love Coke Zero. But what I was finding is when I was having like the bigger cans, the more you have, it can impact digestion, can leave you feeling pretty bloated. So what I've done is I found these, which are tiny. They are, 150 mil. So I think a can of Coke is like 330. So I have 2 of these a day. I have it with this meal and my final meal. Now, 2 Coke Zeros a day, is it a lot? Yeah, it can be. But when you actually work it out, and it's like 2 of these are a size of like 1 normal kind of Coke Zero, is it that much? No. So be smart with your diet drinks as well. If you do enjoy diet drinks in a fat loss phase, like I do help that it helps with appetite and cravings. Just go for like the smaller options, because they help a lot. They help a lot in my opinion. So tuck into this and then finish off some work, and then we've got to nip to the mall. So I'm gonna dig in. And that's the trip to Dubai Mall done, because we're going back to the UK next month. Just needed to pick up a few bits. But if you've been to Dubai Mall, you'll understand it's not a place that you want to just like go for fun. I used to enjoy going when we first moved to Dubai, because it was like, oh, Dubai Mall, but it's just so crowded. There's so many people, traffic's crazy, it's hard to find a parking spot. It's just an absolute nightmare. So quick in and out, got to the car now, we'll head back, a couple of hours of work, final meal, and then chill for the evening. So that's work all wrapped up for the day, and it's time to get into my final meal, which is a repeat of the last meal that you just seen. It is chicken, rice and veg. Like I said, it's convenient, you know, it's easy when I prep my food. You know, I put the rice in the rice cooker, defrost the veg, cook the beef, cook the chicken, and there's my 3 cooked meals done for the day then. So this is the final meal. Calories are at 3,700. I'll put the full breakdown on the screen as well. But I'm feeling pretty wiped out, to be fair. It's been a bit of a busy day. It's been a good Friday, but it's been a bit of a busy one. The good thing is I've got no calls booked in this evening, which can be nice, because during the week, because obviously I'm on Dubai time zone, usually I have calls at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Which is obviously not a problem, you know, like it's either like a catch-up call or welcoming new faces to the team. But sometimes it is nice to not have the call in the evening, have any calls in the evening, because I can have this, I can unwind for half hour to an hour, have my green tea, which I'm in habit of drinking now. Don't ask why, apparently it's good for like your skin and stuff. So I thought I'll have a green tea every night. So I'll have this, have my green tea, have a shower, and then get into bed and just chill out for half hour to an hour before repeating again tomorrow. Tomorrow, training day, it's legs, so it'll be the exact same meals that you've seen. And then Sunday, we've got a rest day, which is a different style. Well, not a different style as such. Similar meal plan, but different meals. So I think the next time I'll do a full day of eating, I'll do like a full day of eating on a rest day. Similar macros, but carbs are slightly less and fats are slightly higher. You know, I got sirloin steak on a rest day, which is really nice as well. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Slightly different. I don't think I've done like a full day of eating on the channel yet. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And please like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one, which will be Prep Series 10 weeks out.